Welcome everyone to Bob Barbosa's talk on can we grow food using Martian soil. So when you're ready, Bob, just take it away.
Okay, very good. Let me do this. Well, first of all, welcome everyone. It's an incredible privilege to have an audience at this time of the day in the United States. So here we go. During the coronavirus terrible period of time, I got to thinking about what it would be like to grow my own food during the pandemic and what that would be like if I had to grow my food on Mars or if I was alone on Mars. So there were a lot of things in the pandemic that reminded me of what it would be like on Mars, the loneliness, the desperation that everything had to really work well. So here we go. So growing plants for Mars missions. I work with the training of junior astronauts, junior engineers, junior scientists, and now pilots. So we have a program where 50% of the program is this training of astronauts to do science experiments on Mars. And the other half is to get you ready to get your pilot's license. So we run those two programs concurrently at the Ontario International Airport in Southern California, USA. So this idea of the first school on Mars, what would we be doing? What would we be learning? What experiments would we be conducting? These are things that got me really curious, so I did this project. So here I am at the airport with my tiger teams and the lion teams and the different teams that I have to train for this project. So we dress everybody up like they're in an astronaut training program, and they appreciate that. That's kind of a lot of fun. And then we try to get everybody uniforms and patches. And notice in the middle of this uniform, there is a special patch from the Astrosociology Research Institute. Now, Dr. Jim Pass is a member of the Mars Society, and he's also a professor at USC, and he's the founder of this field of astrosociology. Well, because all of my students were either scientists or engineers, I thought it would be nice to have the social studies involved in the social sciences. So I got in touch with this Jim Pass, and he did a wonderful job pulling things together. And I said, I have 30 students and they're in 3 groups of 10. I would like each one of the groups to have a team leader. And I will make that team leader an astrosociologist. So he thought that was a good idea. So he joined me, gave me wonderful support, and I was able to do that. We're doing that in our program right now. So here's the special patches you get when you graduate from the different projects that I'm working on. And then we have a special astronaut training notebook that's very, very interesting in its design, and we use that to train everybody. And then we provide all of the equipment you would need to do the science experiments on Mars. Of course, we're simulating all of that. And you can see in that poster in the middle, if you can see that clearly, you will see all the different jobs and projects that we're training our students with. Mars mathematics, cybersecurity. We learn about all the different space careers and different things like that. We do some interesting experiments. Every student has a notebook like this. So if you were to join the program and you became student number 6, you would get notebook number 6 and get to see what the students that came before you were working on. Because of the pandemic, this is my classroom, by the way. I have little breakout rooms to the side and in the back. And I have to put space everyone out because we're still wearing masks and we're still trying to keep each other safe. So here we are at the airport. Everybody's got a mask on. We're ready to go. Our goal has always been to get robots to help us to do everything that we do. So we have humanoid robots, and I demonstrated that in my 5 o'clock session today, and of how those humanoid robots help astronauts do their work. So we have to invent different things to do the projects that we want to work on. And so we're doing that. And then we have to think about, can we actually grow food in Martian regolith or Martian soil? Well, we know this for sure. The soil that's at the very, very top is very dangerous, very contaminated. That's where all the radiation is sitting. But what would happen if we went underground and we got that soil that maybe was not so impacted by radiation? What would happen? Then we had to see if we could come up with a concoction of the micronutrients and the macronutrients, and then inject that into our experiment. So here we have our Martian regolith in Martian soil. I'm going to use those words interchangeably. And imagine I am able to enhance this soil and purify this soil so I could grow food and be healthy in the whole process. So I do the work, I'm doing the chemistry to make that happen, and I'm coming up with just the right combination. Then I take that soil and I put it in this special container that could be made with using a 3D printer on Mars. Because I'm going to take that special container that you see in the center, and I'm going to put that inside of an agricultural, robotic, Martian garden. And you'll see that in a few minutes. Here it is. So now the trick is, can I get that soil in there? And can I recycle water so I could constantly keep that soil in a nice, moist, warm state? And imagine a dome over the entire operation here. So there it is. I got my soil in there. Some of it is leaking out, so I have to do certain things to make sure that that doesn't happen. But at the same time, I want to create an environment where the moisture is just right. So I measure everything, do all the work that I need to do, get all of my experiments ready, and then all of a sudden I did it. I've got a situation where look how moist that soil is. So I've got my robotic unit giving it just enough water to make this work. And of course, the water is being recycled. So it isn't like I'm pouring water on something and it's evaporating or going off. So, okay, if I'm on Mars, I'd like to have some flowers. It might get pretty depressing up there, and I might need something from Earth to remind me of Earth. So I did this. I made one of my units to grow flowers and the other one to grow food. So here's the one growing food. Notice how healthy the food looks. I mean, really healthy. So I've got just the right combination of everything. I'm making my own soil. I'm testing everything as much as I possibly can. And I got the soil composition in perfect shape. And then I start growing things all over the place. So here are some of my assistants down at the airport. One of them is an engineer, the gentleman to the left wearing all black. And the other two are advanced placement physics teachers. So these are all of my assistants and helpers, and it helps me to give the kids the best education that I can. So we invented a lot of simulated experiments where we could check on what we're growing and do all kinds of experiments related to that. Because my session is only 20 minutes, I got to keep going pretty fast here. But I have a scientific calculator operating a robot. That's what you see up on the top in the blue. And everything else is to monitor my plants. So on Mars, this is what it would look like. I would have acres and acres of these modules, and they'd all be protected by a dome, and they would be putting out food big time, just the way you see it. So all of my students are doing the research on all of that. And we're doing lots of experiments on growing seeds faster and healthier. And these are some of the experiments that my students take home to work on. Everything is in these beautiful containers because we have to pretend that we're astronauts. We got to keep everything neat, clean, organized, and protected. So here are my students at work doing the research. This is our center, and that young man is holding something very, very special in his hand. He happens to have a special robot that is controlled by Zoom. So in other words, if I had that robot on my desk right now, you could control that robot from where you are. And I take it all of you are from all different parts of the world. I see Dennis there and Ken and Darian. You must, it'd be interesting to know during the question and answer period, I would like to know where everybody's from. So here we are, we have to design the communications equipment to monitor that gigantic agricultural Martian garden. So that's what we're doing. We're doing all of those experiments. We're taking everything into consideration as we work with our multidisciplinary team and discuss all of the pros and cons of growing food safely. And then there's the actual growing of the food. So during the pandemic, I started this, and my wife and I ate from this agricultural garden the whole time. It was producing so much food that it was more salads than my wife and I could actually eat. So we said, okay, we're going to have to shut one of these down because there's only two of us and it's producing too much food. So we decided to have one grow flowers and the other one to grow food. But you could imagine on Mars if I had 100 of these going. So these are the different types of plants that food that we try to grow. And then we came up with all kinds of interesting ways to make seeds grow faster. The most difficulty that I had in the entire project was growing avocados. That's something that's a very friendly plant to California, but I still had a tremendous amount of difficulty growing this particular plant. So we tried all kinds of different combinations. We were experimenting with growing cactus on Mars and all kinds of things like that. And then we did our work on the indoors where we used artificial lights to work with our plants and all kinds of things like that. Ran those experiments constantly. And then we started getting good results from the seeds that we were working with. And we said, okay, we're gonna continue this research all next year. We liked the idea of growing flowers on Mars. We thought, we got that information from the astrosociologists that we were working with, and they said that would be a good thing to do. So we said, okay, we'll do experiments to keep those seeds in these special little seed pods going so we could start planting. This is what it looks like when we do a brand new fresh planting. So of course, we had to do a lot of studying along the way of everything that would be involved in plant biology. And then I especially enjoyed the engineering part where we were getting robots to monitor our plants. We even had drones that would fly, take pictures of the plants, send the information back so we could, you know, decide the best care that we could take for these agricultural gardens. Imagine there's 100 of them on Mars and we needed a way to monitor them. So you can see with the water being recycled, the soil in the small container to kickstart everything, and to have this water constantly keeping these plants in a beautiful state. And with the California sun, which was absolutely perfect, we were getting incredible looking plants, as you would have to agree with me by looking right here. So we labeled all of our experiments so we could keep up with everything. And I don't know how my time is, but I better keep moving here so I don't run out of time. So this notion of growing flowers on Mars is something we're interested in. So this is the famous California poppy, and this really took off in the special soil that we prepared. So here's an example of us taking these apart and cleaning them. Here we are, we're taking everything apart, and then putting them all back together again. Notice the residue from the Martian soil. And then we started using the soil mixed in with other soil, got a good result. But this is what it looks like right in the beginning when we started experiment from scratch. The pH level needs to be between 6 and 7, and we monitor this once a week to make sure that's happening. And if it's not happening, we use special chemicals to step it up or step it down so we get a pH balance of between 6 and 7. And when we're between 6 and 7, good things happen. So this gives you an idea. I'm going to go a little faster so I can save time for your questions and answers. So here's some of the equipment that we're using. We designed special graphic organizers to keep track of the science. And then we have all of our equipment in these astronaut cases so we can move along or move around easily. But here's different snapshots of during the pandemic, the kind of growth that we were getting. And we were experimenting with a lot of different kinds of soil. And this is our definition that we settled on regolith that we were collecting in a country called Cabo Verde. Cabo Verde is a 10-island nation, and they are our partners. They are off the west coast of Africa, and there's 10 islands there. One of the islands is uninhabited, and we use that island as if it's Mars. The other island is called Fogo, F-O-G-O, and that island has an active volcano, and we discovered that when we grow plants with the soil from that volcano, it is out of this world. So sometimes we have to grow on the inside, like inside of our Martian habitats, and then growing the plants on the outside, as long as there's a protective dome of some kind, or we're doing special work underground. Now, here are our plans for growing plants underground and living underground and using the regolith from underground that won't be so contaminated by the radiation. So we've got lots of cool equipment to monitor everything. And this is some of it here. And I think I'm going in the right direction here. So all of my avocados died except for this one. And I almost lost this one. I didn't attend to it for 2 or 3 days. I had 2, I lost 1. So these are the 2 that I had. And I was really on a mission not to have this one fail. So we're going to test the seeds in this unit to see if we can get a better result with this type of plant. So here's some of the equipment we use to test our pH. And there's a little information on. So this robot over to the left is that special robot that runs on Zoom. You can control it on Zoom. So let's pretend I'm on Mars and you're on the Earth, and you want to have your robot take a look at some of these plants. Well, that is a cell phone. That is an Apple phone on the front of that robot. And that phone is controlled by this robot, and it does a terrific job documenting our work. Okay, I want to thank all of these people. I did not do this work all by myself. Everybody thinks that I'm down here by myself doing everything, but I've got a lot of help from a lot of great people, and I wanted to acknowledge them here. And here we are. I made it to the end. It's time for questions, and I'm open to your questions.
Thank you, Bob. That was a very awesome talk. You got lots of questions in the chat, but first, lots of people have said where they're from. So we got Travis from Georgia in the USA, Kevin from San Diego, got Ana Lucia from Lima, Marufa from Hawaii, Herschel from Sydney, from everywhere.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to Earth, everyone.
So a couple of people have asked about your Mars regolith, where you got it from or how you made it.
What I did is I worked with a couple of chemists, and I got them all of the different ingredients that would be necessary. And what they did is they mixed the concoction together, and then we started testing seeds. And then we noticed that we were getting growth. Our last project was last week, and our students were getting growth within a week. And what we did is we said, anyone that gets their seeds to sprout, the first 3 will get a prize. So of course, the kids went home and they worked on this, and they nurtured and took all the right precautions. And lo and behold, I started getting photos of the seeds sprouting. So this time around, for some reason, we broke a record in how fast we could get seeds to germinate. Okay, next question.
Thank you. Next question from Dusty is, could algae, fungus, and bacteria be used to help process the soil to eventually produce a compost?
That would be the most perfect situation that we could be in. We are prepared to run those experiments because we finally got the robots to control the moisture in our robotic unit. So yesterday, I saw some really promising results, and I took photos of the moisture within that soil. So we're hoping that now that we have control, better control of everything, that we might be able to produce algae. So those are experiments that need to be run. If you're interested in participating in any of that kind of thing, just send me an email. I think at the top of this slide, it's barbosasspacecenter.com will get you to me, or a Google search of my name will always get you to me. Okay, next question.
Dusty has another question, and she asks, would it be curious to use soil that was irradiated so that it is sterile?
Well, you know, we're going to have to do that. So that's really on our list. And so we have to run every conceivable experiment that we possibly can. Some will have to be done at the university level because a few of these experiments are kind of dangerous. So we're limited to some of the things that we can do because we're at the high school level. But we're looking to put together a special Tiger team at the college level so we can do more advanced experiments.
Awesome. So Dennis, who is from, sorry. Yeah, Dennis is from Canada, so that's a new country to the list. And he asks, how much energy would it take to make the project viable?
Well, my scientific calculators arrive next week, and I am going to start to do some computing based on the work that we've done this year. We're going to have to come up with something very, very clever, because as you can just see at the surface level, this would be very expensive. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Darian Phillips asks, how is the robot controlled by Zoom?
Oh, okay, that's a very good one. That is top secret at this moment. No, we'll be sharing that information as soon as the manuals are completed. But what happened is we knew someone at Zoom that allowed us to do a few special things. And in my first presentation today at 5 o'clock, I showed the robot and I got into a lot of how that would work. So what happens is the Mars Society, of course, is going to publish all of that. And so if you go back to my 5 o'clock session, I did the Tiger Team training component. And in that component, I had 4 or 5 slides on the process for getting the robots to work being controlled by Zoom. I'm looking around trying to see if I got one here. Let's see. I don't know if you have time for me to run around the corner and get one and put it in my hand, but this is one of them that we're working that is operating off of a video, high resolution video camera. Just happened to be on the desk behind me. The other one is around the corner, and I don't know if you have time for me to run around the corner and get it. So, but
we got about 2 minutes, so
yeah,
I think we would love to see it.
Would you?
If you're able to get it.
I hope so. I'm going to run around the corner. I think it's in the next office. Hang on. Don't go away. I'm running. Okay, everybody. You are the second group of people to ever see this up live in person. And I found it. It was right around the corner. And excellent. I see something has broken and dropped off. I'll make a quick repair here. I'll be able to show you this. Just let me make a quick repair. I was a little too hasty running around the corner. Let's see, we'll put you right back there, and I fixed it and we're ready to go. Okay. Right here in the front where I'm pointing my finger is where you would put your cell phone. So you would have the microbit application on your cell phone. And then the cell phone would sit on the front of the robot. And the robot is designed to take, I should pull back a little bit. The robot is designed to take a wide variety of cell phones. This happens to be an Apple phone. So on the back of the robot, we happen to have an LCD panel so you could work with the information coming from your cell phone and the internet. So you'll actually get messages that you can read. So your cell phone's doing all the work. It's taking the pictures, it's running the movies and all of that. But on the back, you're going to need a way to monitor the microbit. So we're operating this robot with a microbit that is located right there. And then you have your USB cable that you would plug into your computer. So now you can program this robot to do all the different things it needs to do. We have a power supply. We made everything with a 3D printer. So that takes care of the chassis. And that's about it. Everything else is done in software. But at least that gives you a chance to see it. So I'm sorry that I couldn't run a little faster. I hope I didn't kill all of your time.
No, that's all right. You're the last talk before a break, so there's actually quite a lot of time.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah, so there's no rush. There's no talk starting
So,
now.
so that means what you should do is at another time, stay in touch with me by email or something like that. And we might be able to do a special Zoom where we operate it, because when I go to work on Saturday morning at the airport, all of my students will receive a message from San Diego, California. And we'll treat San Diego, California as if it's Mars. And then we will be in Ontario, California. And we will operate the robot from a distance. And then we're going to make a beautiful diorama. Oh, it's too bad I didn't have time. I could switch to the other presentation, go through it at lightning speed so you can actually see it. But, you know, because of Zoom, all it is if people get together and 4 or 5 people and say, give us a special presentation, and then you'll get to see it, ask questions. So we ran it for the first time last Saturday, and it was all student-led. I have a picture of me sitting away from the students, and the students are getting their information over Zoom, telling them what to do to set everything up so we could run the experiment. And then once we got everything ready, then the person in San Diego took control of the robot, and it was kind of mind-blowing when you think about it, because it's such an inexpensive solution. But in terms of our Mars project, we can definitely roll the robot around and take a look at how the plants are doing, that's for sure. So we're going to do that with a drone. We're going to do it with a rolling robot, and then we'll do it with a humanoid robot. So maybe by the next time the Mars Society has another convention, look for my name, Bob Barbosa, and you'll get another installment as to how we're doing it. Because we're going to be growing the plants, we're going to be doing all the science experiments, and they're just going to get better and better and better, because our program is only 3 weeks old. You know, no one could meet during the pandemic, so we took all the time during the pandemic to get ready for the date 9/11, and that's when we opened up the program. We received a $1.7 million grant to do all of this, and there's 60 kids in the program. Everything is paid for, and we're about to purchase 65 brand new computers to help us do more detailed work on all of this. Got custom software was designed for this project. So any other questions?
I think there's one more question, yeah, from Christopher, and he asks, what kind of connection do you need to go to the college level?
We have a few colleges that we're working with right now. One of them is USC, the University of Southern California. We're working in the engineering department with mission science and mission engineering. And then a lot of our work is going to start to be shifted to doing work in the ocean. We're going to be growing plants in the ocean, and we've got a beautiful facility to kind of do that kind of work. And we've designed underwater robots to help us with that mission. And because the country of Cabo Verde is a 10-island nation, they have a vortex over there that they want us to send robots to explore. So we're treating all that Cabo Verde stuff as if it's Mars. It's Mars on Earth for us. So.
Right, thank you very much. I think that's all the questions, so we'll wrap up there. Look out for you at the next Mars Society convention next year.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming this late in the afternoon. It's a privilege to have you here. And if I can help you in the future, let me know. We're interested in talking to different colleges and different people. We're trying to make stronger connections with high school kids in the UK and high school kids in the United States. Our goal would be able to take 10 of your kids in the UK and bring them here to participate in these kinds of programs, and then go back to the host country or go back to the original country and continue this kind of research. So,
Awesome.
Okay, everybody. Thank you a million for your time.
Cheers. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye now.